How's it going? How are you? How are you doing today? Why am I sounding like that? I don't know. But hey, welcome. Welcome to Screen Speak. It is the podcast that's all about movies, life, and so much more. I'm Jordan Anderson. This is my podcast, and I'm very happy and sincerely appreciative of the fact that you came by and gave it a listen. I normally put in plugs right now for all the stuff for the podcast, but you know what? I'll be nice and I'll save that all for the end of the episode because I just don't really have the energy right now to be doling out the plugs at this very moment. So I'll save it towards the end, okay? I'll do you a favor there. How's everybody doing? You doing okay? Did you have a good weekend? Everything good on your end? You staying healthy, staying happy, all that good stuff? You got a good work-life balance going? Do you feel like you're balanced right now? All that stuff. I don't know if anybody's asked you that for a while, or if you need to be asked that, or maybe you don't. Maybe things are clicking for you, and that's great. If that's the case, that's fantastic if they are. But I don't know. It's just really dreary out. So I'm just kind of in a mood right now, people. I'm in like a dreary kind of mood. But you know, the show goes on, and I gotta get the content out to you all. So that's what I'm doing. And I do realize that I'm doing it much later in the day than when I typically upload these on Sunday. So I do apologize for that. But if you listen to the last episode, number 22, where I talked about the movie Jacob's Ladder, you'll know that I'm still kind of on the recovery end when it comes to this stomach bug, flu, or whatever it was that I came down with that really just kind of knocked me for a loop. I've had to rest a lot more than what I typically do, so I've been doing a lot more sleeping and hydrating and just kind of trying to get my energy back. And I can thankfully say that for the most part, it's definitely a lot better than where it was a few days ago, or certainly a week ago. But I don't know. It's like I'm still kind of like shaking it off a little bit. So if I seem a little bit off or a little bit tired on this episode, well, it's because I might just be a little bit tired. But again, I got a schedule to keep when it comes to the podcast content, and damn it, I'm gonna keep it. So let's go ahead and get into the episode. All right, let's do it. So in keeping and continuing to keep with the theme of October, the month of horror movies and scary things. Why do they say it like that? Things. Scary things. I actually just watched the movie that we're going to be talking about on today's episode, Army of Darkness. I watched this actually late last night with my little brother and his girlfriend. She had never seen the movie before, but I told him that I'm only really watching kind of scarier movies or movies that have horror elements this month for October, all for you fine folks on the podcast. And so we decided to watch Army of Darkness because I hadn't seen it for a while, and my little brother, him and I have always we've always enjoyed this movie's silliness, and it's kind of over the top comedic tones and that sort of thing. And so I was like, okay, yeah, sure. I'm like, I haven't seen it for a long time, and that'll give me a reason to talk about it on the podcast. So sure, why not? So first off, before I get into the movie itself, let's just give some general background information for it. So this movie actually got released on February 19th of 1993. Give me a moment here. I gotta take a sip of some water. That's good. Thanks, water. So yeah, it came out February 19th, 1993. It stars, I guess you would call him a cult movie actor, cult movie legend, Bruce Campbell, because even though I've seen him pop up every now and again in what you would consider to be like some mainstream movies, most notably he cameos almost as like a glorified cameos of himself in the Sam Raimi Spider-Man movies. But anyways, he's mostly known for his B-movie work, and this in a way is kind of a B-movie, Army of Darkness. But Bruce Campbell stars him. He's pretty great in this movie. It also stars Embeth Daviditz. I don't know if I'm saying your name right, lady. But that's like his damsel in distress for this movie, I guess. Yeah. So Your name, lady. I'm sorry I botched it. Why do I keep calling you lady? I don't know, but whatever. We're gonna keep going. So, that was not a pleasant clearing of the throat. I'll tell you that. Okay, I gotta read the synopsis for this. Okay, I already told you guys this is gonna be a bit of a bumpy episode, but we're gonna get through it. So, okay, so I'm actually holding up the Blu-ray right here, so I'll just read this. Okay. So cult superstar Bruce Campbell, from Evil Dead most notably, reunites with director Sam Raimi, who's previously known for Drag Me to Hell and Spider-Man, to battle the deadly forces of evil in Army of Darkness, the outrageous, effects-fueled action epic that will make you scream with fear and laughter. Oh, okay, where's the story on this? Oh, here it is. Forced to lead a makeshift Dark Ages army against the demonic Deadites, who possess all of the deadly magic of hell, the shotgun-toting, chainsaw-armed, reluctant 20th century time traveler, Ash, that's Bruce Campbell, he must save the living from the dead and rescue his medieval girlfriend and get back to his own time. Well, that's not a well-written synopsis for this movie, gotta say that. Hang on, I need more water again. Dang it. I told you, my energy and my throat and everything else is still not 100%. But again, we gotta get this out. We gotta do it, or I gotta do it, or I'm telling myself I gotta do it because oh my gosh, just get through this. Just get through this episode. Like I hate even talking like that because it makes it sound like this is a painful one, but. Like I said, I'm still not 100%, so I'm just being real with everybody here. It's not 100% today, energy-wise, but anywho, let's keep going. See, I need, you hear this? That's me slapping myself in the face. Blah! Stop it. Snap out of it. Okay, let me do a big throat clear, and then I'm going to get the energy up a little bit. I'm going to amp it up, and this is going to not be a train wreck of an episode like it is seemingly becoming right now. Okay, so hang on. I promise I'm not possessed by an army of the dead, but this is me getting into a better mind state. Why am I doing this? I don't know, but we need to salvage this episode before I end up getting frustrated and try to redo the recording of this, but I don't want to do that right now. Okay. All right. I promise. We're back on track now. Okay. Jesus. Sorry. Okay. So, Army of Darkness is actually the third. It is the third Evil of the Dead film, technically speaking. Doesn't say Evil of Dead in there, but it is the third movie. There was Evil Dead, and then there was Evil Dead 2, and then it became Army of Darkness for the third one. And I thought it's only appropriate, since I'm talking about the third of a trilogy, to talk about the previous two. I don't really have a ton to say about the first two movies. The first Evil Dead, I know I've seen it. It's been some time. I remember the movies. I mean, both movies and even this movie, part of the tone is like this really over the top, gory, but just it's hard to explain. It's very campy gore, because it's really over the top and just really not realistic in a lot of ways. And it's very practical. That's the other thing. A lot of the Evil Dead movies, the previous two anyway, they have a ton of practical effects that are really gruesome and nasty, but it's kind of fun. And then again, you got Bruce Campbell, who is he has a lot of charm. He's got a lot of wit to him. He's a very sarcastic. His character anyway is very sarcastic, kind of smartass sort of guy, and yeah, he's definitely a selling point for those movies. But Evil Dead 2 seems to be the favorite for most people that are fans of this franchise. And I know there was a remake that they did not that long ago, and I don't think I ever saw the remake because I got like really disturbed in the trailer from seeing like I don't know, there's like some ghost lady like taking a knife and like cutting her tongue down the middle or something, and I was like, okay. And like, not that I am like have like a weak stomach to gore, but I'm like, do I really need to see that right now? No, probably not. And I don't know, I just like kind of the fun, sort of lighter tone of the Evil Dead movies, so I was like, I'll just stick with the originals and go from there. But Army of Darkness is, of the three Evil of the Dead movies, the one that I'm the most familiar with, and certainly the one that I've seen the most. I'm trying to think when I first saw it. I know it was introduced to me by my dad. He used to like it quite a bit. He likes. I guess I say this in a nice way. Yeah, it's a nice way. My dad always appreciated the very sophomoric, kind of childish humor of this type of movie. It's very, very light in its tone. It's pretty. It's not very mature. I mean, there's some pretty lowball humor in this for most anybody to enjoy, but I don't know. My dad seemed to like a lot of that stuff when I was younger, and he really appreciated this movie and just thought it was a lot of fun. And I think I thought so too, and I still think so. And I know, watching it last night with my little brother and his girlfriend, it had been some time since I had seen it, and there was parts of it that I kind of forgotten about. And I was like, oh geez, like it's pretty corny in a couple spots. But the biggest thing I could say that I would say with a movie like this is to just go into it with, just go into it open-minded, and don't have a lot of expectation with a movie like this. And if you can just suspend your disbelief. Why am I doing that? I don't know. My mouth's not working. If you can suspend your sense of disbelief, is that what I'm trying to say? I don't know. I think that's what I'm trying to say. Yeah, if you can suspend your sense of disbelief and just kind of just lower your expectations a little bit, and just know if I want to see some kind of Three Stooges like humor with some really well done practical effects with some not so well done effects, but intentionally so because like the crappy effects are kind of part of the appeal, then you should like this movie. And also Bruce Campbell. I mean, Bruce Campbell's he's a big drawing point for, not big drawing point, he's a big selling point for this movie because he's a lot of fun. He's sarcastic and he speaks, his humor is very modern, and so it doesn't really go very well in the Middle Ages, which I guess I should get into that part of it. Why not? So, unlike the first two Evil of the Dead movies, this one is a time travel movie, and I'm not really sure why exactly, like why the Book of the Dead transports Ash to the Middle Ages. I don't really know if that ever fully gets explained, but at the same time, like, it doesn't really matter. It's time travel can be fun, and in a horror movie or a horror comedy, I guess it makes for a fun premise, makes for a lot of fun situations, and most notably, it's from the fish out of water perspective, which we've seen done in a lot of different movies, whether it's the classic Back to the Future, Marty McFly in the 1950s. He doesn't really fit in. There's I think like most recently, Wonder Woman, the 2017 one. It's not a time travel movie per se, but it's a woman that lives on an island full of women that's like being exposed to a world she's never seen. So that's Fish Out of Water. There's other things I can mention for that, but I think you get what I'm saying. Point is that Ash, before he gets sucked into the Middle Ages from this Book of the Dead, he works at a place called S-Mart, and he always likes to say to people, it's part of his many kind of one-liners, sense of humor that he has. He's like, shop smart, shop S-Mart. And he has a lot of fun with that line in the movie. But he works in the sporting goods department, I think. He has a pretty average life. He's got a nice girlfriend named Linda, who I guess gets murdered from I don't know if she was in Evil Dead 2, but it's just in the opening they're just like, yeah, I had my girlfriend Linda and we go out to the cabin, and then all of a sudden the dead evil stuff comes and gets us, and kills Linda, and I have to chop off my arm because it gets into my hand, which that did happen in Evil Dead 2. I do remember that. He has to chop off his arm because some of the evil gets in there, and then he somehow is able to make his arm, his stub of an arm, be a, what do you call it, a holding place? I don't really know, but he's able to get a chainsaw where his arm used to be, which is pretty cool. I mean, that's cool. It's maybe not the most practical thing in the world, but hell, it looks pretty cool to have a chainsaw for an arm. It's very, very masculine, very cool. But anywho, so Ash, at the beginning of this movie, this isn't a spoiler, it's probably in the trailer, and, this movie's been out for a while, so whatever. Ash, he gets sucked through this portal, and him and his crappy car land in the Middle Ages, and then pretty quickly he gets taken captive by some medieval people, and gets taken over to a castle not far away where they think that he's a spy for some other, I think it's like Henry the Red and his people. They're like, we hate them for some reason because they wear different colored clothing than us, or I don't really know. They don't really flesh that out. It's just, it's a rival army, a rival people. And they think that he's a spy with them, and they throw him in this pit. And then that's when the, kind of crazy action in this movie happens. The over-the-top horror, et cetera, et cetera. But I will say on this scene really quick, and then I want to go back to talking more about the Middle Ages and everything like that. But in this scene, I do like that when he's able to crawl out of the pit, people are pretty like, holy crap, like this, like nobody comes out of this pit alive. And he comes out of the pit, and he's pretty pissed because he's been trying to tell them from the beginning that he's like, I don't belong here. They don't really care. And then he's kind of like a god to them because he has all this modern knowledge, and, he keeps calling them primitive screwheads. And, he's kind of a dick, but he has a lot of fun with it. And very, very famous line that he says in this is, he has his boomstick, which is a gun, because they've never seen a gun before, and they're all, of course, all the people are like, oh my god, like, what is this? Oh, man. What is this wizardry? Oh my gosh. It's a lot of fun. That's what I'm trying to say for this. But anyhow, so talking about the fish out of the water story, it's fun because it makes you kind of think like, gosh, if you were in a different time period, with your modern knowledge and everything like that, like would people look at you kind of funny, or would they think that you couldn't really like fit in or anything like that? I don't know. It certainly makes me think about that. I'm trying to think right now, if I could go back in time to a different century or different era, something like that, where would I want to go? And then more importantly, why would I want to go there? Well, I'm going to ponder this for a little moment. Let's see. Where would I want to go? Well, I kind of like the idea of like going back to like the 20s or something like that, but the healthcare is probably awful then. So like if something were to happen to me, I guess if I go back in time at any point, the healthcare is going to be terrible, and if I get injured or something, it's probably not going to be pleasant. This is a tough one. The 60s could be kind of cool. Could be kind of cool to see what things were like back then. Of course, I do love movies, so maybe wouldn't it be ideal for me to go to like a decade of film that would be fun to revisit? Excuse me. I'm adjusting in the chair here. I don't know. Let's just, gosh, I don't have a good answer for that. I don't have a good answer for that one right now. I guess I'm not the most imaginative person right now. Like I said, this episode is it's not going to be the greatest, but I'm going to do it. Okay. Why don't you think about that? How about that? Why don't I just ask you? Why do I have to do all the talking here? If you could go back in time, where would you go and why? If you want to let me know, you can go ahead and send the podcast an email. Send us an email it's screenspeakpodcast@gmail.com. That is the official email of the podcast. You want to send me an email, you want to tell me if you could go back in time, where would you go? You can go ahead and do that. I don't really have any prizes or anything like that to give you, so you really get nothing for me, for sending that. But I could reply to you. That would be something, right? You'd be like, I got a reply from the ScreenSpeak podcast. What's ScreenSpeak? Well, it's this great podcast where this guy Jordan talks about movies. What? I don't care about that guy Jordan. Like, shut up. Shut up. Turn off the podcast. But Dad, I don't know. Where is my head going today, folks? I don't know. Why am I thinking that only like a 10-year-old kid listens to my podcast? I'm sure adults listen to this too. It can't just be me. Well, it could just be you. I don't know. Yeah. What do you want from me? You expect every episode to be gold? It's not always going to be that way. It's not. So, okay. Why am I making this a thing? Why? Okay. Just for like the 10th time, Jordan, let's just move on. Let's just keep going. Yeah, I'll keep going on this. I promise. I do want to be here. I do. It's just my energy needs to be back to 100%, and I'm pushing it. Do I need another slap in the head? Maybe. Here, I'll do it again. Just a light love tap, okay? Listen, 3, 2, 1. Ah. Okay. And I'm back. All right, so fish out of water story. Did I give all the thoughts that I wanted to share on that? Yeah, I think so. Here's a funny thing to think about. So part of the fish out of water element in this movie that's interesting is that Bruce Campbell's character Ash, he's a pretty sarcastic, kind of pessimist, macho, cocky, arrogant person. But he's funny. He's a pretty funny guy. And it does make me wonder, like, if I was in a different century or a different time, I'm not saying I had the level of humor or charm that he does, but I do think I can have my moments where I can be relatively funny from time to time if I choose to. So I kind of wonder, would my sense of humor, would it really come across well to people of a different time? I don't know. That one's hard to say. I mean, you could argue right now, though it's not the same, but you could always test that by going to a different part of the world, a different culture, and doing that. But even then, like that could actually be dangerous depending on where you go, because some places, like, they don't like it when you tell a joke. They won't always take it really well, and you could get punished, imprisoned, killed. So maybe don't try that. But back in time thing's interesting. Like, do they have knock-knock jokes back then? I don't know. I don't even have any good knock-knock jokes. I used to tell one, I think, when I was, like, in the 3rd grade or something, but, and then I got out of the 3rd grade, and I'm like, knock-knock jokes are kind of dumb, so I don't really want to do it. All right, let's get out of that. There was no substance there. Nothing. Nope. Okay, so there's some fun special effects in this. Namely, what I wanted to talk about outside of the practical special effects, which there are some good ones in here. There's some good uses of it. But there's this interesting thing that they do with the skeletons, the Deadites, as they call them, the army of the dead. So, I don't know. I'll look it up. I'll look it up because I didn't do this part of the research on here. I don't even know if I can find this. So, Army of Darkness, skeletons, special effects. Let me see if I can figure out about how they did this, because it looks like it's some type of excuse me. It looks like it was like some type of like a stop motion technique or something. So I'm just curious to read into this right now. All right, let's see. A first-hand look at Sam Raimi's latest effects-laden extravaganza, which further blazes the trail pioneered by Ray Harryhausen. That name sounds familiar. Who is that? Ray Harryhausen. Got it? This is a beautiful thing about tabs. I can look at multiple things here. Okay, so Ray Harryhausen. He was an American artist, designer, visual effects creator, and okay, so he is the person who created stop motion animation. That is pretty remarkable. When you think about that, like creating literally being inventive enough to create a type of special effect. I don't know. I think you got to be quite gifted to do that. What did he do? Did he do King Kong? No, I don't think. Let's see. So what is Ray Harryhausen famous for? He did stop motion animation effects. I get that. Can I see some of the movies he did? Let's see. No, that. Oh my gosh. I just want to. Okay. Jason and the Argonauts. That was a famous movie from the 60s. Okay, I've heard of that. I don't think I've ever seen that movie. Has anyone ever seen that? Jason and the Argonauts? Well, whatever. Back to Army of Darkness. So, let's see. Can I see them talk about the special effects for this movie? I'm reading some stuff. Okay. Oh my gosh. Okay. All right, I'm going to read this part because it looks like it's talking about what I'm trying to see about the skeletons in Army of Darkness. Okay, so here we go. Using the former... Okay, I sound like... You ever seen Leo Getz in Lethal Weapon? That's kind of where I was trailing off into. Okay. All right. Here's what I'm trying to read off this website. In order to create the Deadite skeleton army, which rises from the grave to battle the live-action castle dwellers, Introvision opted to eschew the traditional stop-motion approach and perform the process in reverse. Well, that's interesting. Using the former method pioneered by effects wizard Ray Harryhausen, the filmmakers would have photographed the live-action first and then inserted the ball and socket skeleton puppet in front of miniature rear projection screens via complementary mats and by backwinding the film in the camera. That is freaking fascinating. And then Introvision, which I'm guessing is the special effects company that was working on this, decided to shoot the miniatures first and later project the finished plate onto the 60-inch Scotchlite front projection screens. The actor was then placed into the miniature set using using Introvision's unique patented dual screen projection process. Isn't that crazy? Like, this is the kind of stuff I'm talking about when I think of things that don't get the appreciation that they deserve in movies. And I don't know why I'm turning this into a rant on that, but even listening to what I just described on there for the technical craft that it takes to put up a unique brand of special effect like that, that is amazing, and it deserves to be commended. I mean, seriously. I just feel like average movie-going audiences sometimes, like, they just see it and they just like they shovel popcorn in their face. They're just like, like they can do anything in movies. Like, who cares? You know how much work it takes to do that, and how much imagination and coordination between different departments and people and money and resource and time and creativity, and like, I don't know. That is so cool. That is so cool seeing that that's how they went about doing that. And I'm sure if I wanted to, I could probably keep reading up on this and just continue to get fascinated about how they do this. And just think of the detail that it takes to do that too. So, okay, I can't help it. I'm going to read another section off of this apparently reputable article here. If anybody wants to look this up, it's from, let me scroll up on this. It's from American Cinematographer, otherwise known as ASCMag.com. Apparently, they wrote an Army of Darkness article. This was from October 27th, 2020, so it's not from that long ago. But I'm going to read this part here, too, because this is also interesting. So it says that the first and most difficult animation sequence undertaken, no pun intended, was a wide-angle graveyard sequence, during which the camera booms up over the hill to reveal the characters Ash and Sheila, that's played by that actress name that I couldn't pronounce, overlooking the vast armies of the dead as they make ready for battle. As many as 50 moving skeletons are visible in the shot, with 15 channels of movement programmed into the Linux Robox motion-controlled Spectrum system on an IBM 286 computer. Only 6 of the skeletons were actually animated by hand in the shot. The 4 main 12-inch foreground skeletons consisted of ball and socket metal armatures with parts culled from human anatomy model kits. These were animated frame by frame by Peter Kleinow, which animated a 6-inch gravedigger, a sword clopper, and 2 sets of marching skeletons in the background. Think about that. Hand animated. Do you realize like they have to get like every movement, every little thing in the right precise place to move and have it be at least convincing to the audience? Even if they might know it's a special effect, they're still able to do it very cleverly. It's crazy. Should I read a little bit more into this? I think I should, because hell, you're coming along with me on this. You're coming along with me on this Google, this impulsive Google search. Let's see. The rest of the skeletons were controlled by the computer using wire cables connected to stepper motors. The camera boom and tilt were each operated on 2 separate motion control channels, programmed to coincide with the live-action boom filmed later on the soundstage. And the entire set was approximately 30 inches by 40 inches and constructed in 4 forced perspective sections, which were made to appear as if they stretched to the distant hills occupying the furthest table, caping the illusion with a dark cloud backdrop hung on the stage wall. That is incredible! Like, that is amazing. And it's not that I don't think like a modern movie would do that now, but I can definitely tell you that this type of special effects, it's a little bit more costly because there's much more hands-on time that's required to do it. But I don't know. I really appreciate that. I really appreciate the clever use of practicality and practical effects with tricks on forced perspective and photography tricks and just filming techniques on this. Like, this is amazing. Anywho, I could keep going on this, but Army of Darkness, if nothing else, I'm not saying it's like the greatest movie in the world. It's silly. The story can be a little weak at times, but damn it, it is fun, and it is a technical. It is do I want to say it's a technical marvel? Maybe not, but it's a fun movie to behold technically, and there's some really clever, creative ideas going on in this movie. So if nothing else, show this movie some love for that. Okay. Let's see. Another thing I want to talk about on here is. I want to talk about a very fun scene. It's probably my favorite scene in the whole movie. It's where Ash gets to this. I'm kind of skipping ahead in the movie, or not giving any context to this, but Ash skips ahead, or, oh my God, I skip ahead. Okay, I'm skipping ahead to where Ash is retrieving the Necronomicon, this Book of the Dead. Because earlier in the movie, it's indicated that he has to recover the Book of the Dead so that he can actually get home to his own modern time. Otherwise, he'll be stuck there forever and he'll probably die, I guess. So, but he has to say, he's told that he has to say these 3 magic words. It's the Klaatu, Barada, Nikto. That's what he's supposed to say. But when he gets there, it's funny because he forgets the 3rd word. It's a very funny scene because there's 3 books and there's some comic, very clever stuff that they do with that, where these 2 books attack him. One of them makes him have a really long face. I don't actually know how they pulled off that special effect, but I appreciate it. I appreciate it. It's really good. But anywho, before he grabs the 3rd book, he can't remember what the hell to say. And it's funny because like he can even see like his expressions and everything. He's just like, oh shit, like I can't believe I forgot about this. And then he's kind of like looking around like, well, like who cares? Like, maybe I can just kind of like bullshit my way through it. And so then he does what only classic Bruce Campbell and his sense of humor can do and pull off. He goes like, okay, tries to make it sound all, very big. He's like, Klaatu, Barada, and he just tries to cover up with a cough, and he's like, they'll probably buy it. And then, of course, like the second he picks up the book, all hell starts breaking loose and the Army of the Dead pops up. And again, you have this very fun kind of childish humor sequence where he falls over and all these bones are coming up out of the ground and poking him in his eyes and picking his nose and giving him like a wet willy and all this stuff. And he's like, ah, ah! It's silly. Okay? Is there any more water in this glass? I got like 2 drops here. This better get me through the rest of this episode. Here we go. That didn't help. I want to get up and get more water, but nah. I'm just gonna power through. I'm just gonna make it through. And I'll be honest too. I don't think this episode is gonna be that long. This is just, if you want to call this episode anything, people. Every once in a while, I don't care. I don't care how good somebody is at something, or maybe that's not true. I'm probably just making excuses. This is kind of a filler episode, okay? I'm not going to act like this is going to be the most well-done episode I've put together, but it's a bit of a filler episode. I felt like crap during this last week. I'm still kind of getting my groove back, so can you please just cut me some slack and just be like, hey, you know what, he's still recording stuff for us, and that's nice enough. And even though I think he probably should go rest more, or maybe better prepare episodes before he hits record. I don't know. This is the episode that this is it. This is it. What do you want? What do you want from me? I don't know. All right, what else did I have to talk about for this movie? I talked about the fun book scene. That's a lot of fun. The chainsaw arm thing. I think I mentioned that. I was thinking off the top if I've ever used a chainsaw. I think I've used a chainsaw before. I've only ever used one once, and I think it was like it was a friend of mine's. I was helping him like remove some wood or something. It was like it was a man task. I was helping like a bunch of people remove wood because there was this big derecho, that's what they called it here anyway, where I'm from, this big landmass hurricane that hit about a year ago. And I think I had to use a chainsaw then a couple of times to help clean up some debris from a friend's neighbor's house or something like that. It was a good time. I got some pizza and beer for the payment, so I can't complain with that. But yeah, chainsaws. It does seem pretty cool to use for like taking out like zombies or the Evil Dead skeletons, something like that. I don't think I'd want to have it on my arm though. That wouldn't really be the greatest. It does get me thinking though, if I didn't have in this case, can I tell which arm he has lost in this? Is it really his right arm? Oh my god, that sucks. It's his right arm, according to the cover of this movie. That is his chainsaw arm. That would be really shitty for me. If I had that, it could be my left hand, like my left arm. That would be better. My right arm's my dominant one. But I don't know. It gets me thinking. If I didn't have one of my arms and I could get something to replace it, what would I want that to be? Aside from a prosthetic limb, of course, or a robot arm, which, let's talk about that for a second. Why is it we live in 2021, and perhaps there's some documented cases of this. Again, I don't claim to be an expert. I don't know, but are there robot like arms yet? Robot augmentations, augments? Is that what I'm trying to say? Like I'm saying, like if I lost my arm, can it be like Star Wars where I get like a robotic arm that's metal and I can control it and all that? Is that a thing yet? And if so, why the hell not? Why are we not there yet? I'm tired of this. I'm tired of not having cool future stuff. It's 2021. I mean, hell, even the original Blade Runner, and I'm going to double check this to make sure I'm not just talking out my ass. But even the original Blade Runner, I think, takes place in 2017. Let me see. Blade Runner. When is it set? Oh, okay. Even better. November of 2019. That's when it's set. It's 2021. We don't got flying cars. We don't have androids that are impersonating humans. We don't have lightsabers. We don't have the Starship Enterprise. I mean, shit, we don't even have a colony on the moon. Like, what the heck? What are we doing? I mean, I don't know. Elon Musk is trying, right? Isn't that the guy, one of the guys that's like trying to actually get us to do cool, why did I say it like that? Is Elon Musk trying to get us to do cool future space stuff? I don't know. And I also realize I'm coming across as the biggest, like, just generalizing moron right now when I'm talking about this stuff. I mean, I went from talking about chainsaws to why I'm upset that stuff from Blade Runner is not in the current present day. I don't know. I mean, this just shows you when I'm out of sorts, it's not always going to be cohesive and make sense. But, you know, we do what we can. Point is, going back to the damn chainsaw thing, I don't know. You tell me. If you lost one of your arms and you couldn't have a chainsaw there or couldn't have a prosthetic limb, what would you have? Would you have a sword? Would you have a spatula? Would that help you? You could still make grilled cheese, I guess. I don't know. I should probably start to wrap this one up, right? I mean, this is a pretty dud of an episode, but hey, at least I'm self-aware of that. You know, if someone like cites back, hey, you know that episode 23 you did on Army of Darkness, it wasn't that great. It wasn't that great. I would just say, well, I think you might be right, but I'll get him on the next one. Because I'll tell you one thing about Jordan Anderson here, folks. Why am I speaking in the third person? I don't know. But I'll tell you one thing about me. I'm persistent, and I will not give up. So just because an episode or here or there might not be the greatest, I'm still going to do it. I'm going to do it because I love this stuff, okay? I love movies, and I love podcasting. And why am I on the defense? Like, what is wrong with me? Do you understand what I'm doing? It's like I'm attacking myself, but then I'm defending myself or attacking myself. I don't know. But what I can tell you is this. Gosh. Army of Darkness. It's a fun movie. I realized I probably didn't talk about it as much as I thought I was going to do. I think I spent like half this episode self-sabotaging myself or saying how I'm like, oh, this one sucks. I don't feel that great. I'm kind of tired. I'm thirsty. I need more water. I just sounded whiny and just, yeah, I get it. But, you know, we do what we do what we can. We do what we can. But I'll wrap up this episode. I'll make it a shorter one here. I'll just say Army of Darkness, it is a fun movie. It's got some good light humor in it. It does have some kind of scary stuff. Like if I was a younger kid, some of the creepy demon stuff might disturb me in this, but it's mostly fun. Again, if I were to attribute this movie's humor to anything, it's like a horror movie, but it's got Three Stooges like comedy. It's very slapstick and silly. And I think it's self-aware too. I mean, I think it knows that it's, you know, doesn't need to be taken all that seriously, except there's a couple of scenes where it seems to be kind of leaning into the action side, but it's fun. And Bruce Campbell, he's a lot of fun. I like him a lot. Anytime I see him in anything, I'm like, hey, Bruce Campbell, all right. He's a pretty cool guy. I liked him in that Burn Notice show. You remember that? That was on USA. Remember, does anyone ever watch Burn Notice? It's a TV show, but he was in that for a long time. I liked him. But anywho, this is a fun movie. If you're looking for something kind of light to watch for Halloween, you know, something a bit different, that's got a bit of comedy to it, so it's not just a straight horror film, but you can have some laughs and appreciate some of the hard work that went into the wonderful special effects of this movie, then I think Army of Darkness would be a good one for you. So there you go. I think that's really all I got, because I think if I go on any longer, this will no doubt go on the record for being one of the worst episodes of Screen Speak that I have recorded and released. But yeah, I don't have the time. I don't have the time to, you know, re-record this or, you know, whatever. This one is what it is. So that said, Other episodes I've recorded, I think, have some merit to them. And again, why am I self-sabotaging myself? You gotta stop. Believe in yourself, Jordan. Believe in yourself. It wasn't that bad. Okay. This is part of my sense of humor, though, guys. I like... Sometimes I like tearing myself down or being a bit self-deprecating. That's the word I like. I do it sometimes to myself, and when I'm feeling kind of down and dumpy and whatever, I guess I kind of lean into a little bit more. So I'm sorry if you don't like that, but that's just part of who I am sometimes. I can't erase it. So anywho, that's it. That's all I got for this episode. I do have, let's take a look. Oh my gosh, I'm looking. It's going to be October 31st in, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 days, because I can't just do it in my head. In the week, it's going to be Halloween. Woo! Halloween! I hope you're going to dress up as something cool. I don't know if I'll dress up as anything, to be honest. Maybe I will, maybe I won't. Not sure, but I am going to watch some movies, but I got 2 more. That's right, I got 2 more Halloween episodes that are going to be posted here for the month of October, and both of them will be featuring guests. So no more solo episodes for the rest of this month. So get ready for that. And with that, I bid you all adieu. I don't know why I'm doing that. And thank you all for coming by and listening to this Struggle of an Energy episode on Army of Darkness, which is a good movie you should check out. Okay, I'm done.